Bit yet? We'll call the Board of Public Works meeting to order. Number 2, approval of minutes of January 31st. Motion by Mr. Fisher, second by Mr. Rosendich. Questions, corrections? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number citizens comments, I guess. Nobody here for citizens comments, so we'll go to number 4. Review of truck route status on Arlington Street from Oak to Lincoln, presented by Tom Turchi, City Engineer. Tom.
As we finalize the plans for sewer repairs on West Arlington Street, we began looking into the options for road restoration. Following this underground work, Arlington Street is currently classified as a heavy truck route between Oak Avenue and Lincoln Avenue. If the heavy truck route classification were removed on this section of roadway, we could review more cost-effective ways to make repairs of the street restoration. So we took a look at the analysis. Arlington Street from Oak Avenue to Lincoln Avenue is classified as a low-volume residential street in the City of Marshfield 2017-2037 Comprehensive Plan. All properties adjoining Arlington Street are zones SR2 and SR3, which are single-family residential. The posted speed limits are 25 miles an hour. Traffic counts on this section west Arlington are as follows. We had 1,710 average daily traffic between Highland and Martin, and 530 average daily traffic between Adams and Drake. As we consider the replacement of the pavement section over the proposed sanitary sewer project, the city could realize some significant savings by utilizing an alternate typical section if the heavy truck route classification were removed from this corridor. Therefore, I'm recommending that Arlington Street from Oak Avenue to Lincoln Avenue be removed from heavy truck route classification. I further recommend that the administrative code be amended accordingly to reflect the changes noted above. Are there any questions?
Mr. Fire, second. Mr. Varsho, questions? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Number 5, approval of truck and equipment purchase for the street department consisting of the following, presented by Chris Hawley, Street Superintendent. Chris.
Good evening, everybody. I'm here tonight to get approval for some purchases. The first one will be a tandem axle truck to replace unit number 60. As you can see, it's 20 years old with over 167,000 miles. That's not quite the oldest truck that we have in the fleet, but it's pretty close. The condition of the truck is poor to below average. What we're looking to replace it with is another tandem axle truck, complete with a snowplow package, plow and a wing, and a salter. Staff went out and got quotes from 3 different chassis, Mid-State Truck, and Truck Country, and I-State, and we also got a bid from Monroe for the plow truck package with the plow and wing and the salter, V-box spreader, along with all the electronic controls for that. And staff recommends that the board approve the purchase of the tandem axle dump truck from Mid-State Truck and the snowplow package salters from Monroe Truck for $260,019. Any questions?
Let's do them separately, I think would be best.
Yeah.
I would entertain a motion to approve the first purchase. Mr. Rosendich, second by Mr. Varsho. Questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, Chris.
Okay, the second one here is also to replace 2 other single axle trucks, along with getting a snowplow package with it and a salter package with it also. Unit 64 is actually 26 years old with over 115,000 miles on it. And unit number 61 is 22 years old with 83,000 miles on it. We went out to the three same bidders. Mid-State Truck was low bid on this one for $96,500. We received quotes from Chuck Country again in I-State, and then we're looking at approval for the purchase of the two single axle trucks with the snowplow packages and the salters again for a total of $472,524.
Motion. Mr. Fire, second. Mr. Fisher, questions? Mr. Fisher.
I just have one question. If I'm reading this right, the city budgeted 400,000, but we're paying 472, so we're over.
Correct. Yes, and that's a great question. One of the things that we did, we just looked back into 2021 to see what kind of savings we had in the CIP when we purchased stuff. And total savings between everything that we had budgeted for 2021 and the resale of our sweeper, pickup trucks and our V-plows equated to $82,500. So there's a savings in that. So,
Dan?
It's also important to note, if you saw in the memo, that one of these purchases would be budgeted in 2023. But because of the lead time of up to 18 months, we'd like to get them both on the calendar now. We won't actually pay for that second truck or both of these trucks until they arrive. So we'll have time to adjust the 2023 budget accordingly and then cut back somewhere else if we need to in those 2023 purchases.
That's great. I just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else on that one? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Chris?
and lastly, I have a memo for you to purchase a Trimble 2D grade control system for our newly acquired wheeled excavator. At the last meeting, Tom had asked us if whether we would take our excavator in trade or put it out on Wisconsin surplus, and it generated a lot of questions after the meeting, knowing that we won't be actually paying for the new one until the bucket arrives for it. So it's a couple months out on the bucket. So we said, hey, we got some time. Let's stick it out on Wisconsin surplus. They were going to give us $40,000 in trade, so we stuck it on Wisconsin surplus for a minimum of $40,000. We actually received $41,500 for it without the bucket. We priced out a brand new bucket on that, which comes with the new purchase, and that came in at $28,000. So we think we did really well there. So with that extra savings that we had there, we would like to purchase, upgrade the laser system that's on it now. It's 10 years old. The advancement in technologies has outdated this unit, and one of the things we were looking at was Trimble came in and demoed their unit. This is the baseline unit for us to do excavating for our ditching projects, and it's the baseline and it's upgradable. So in the future, and Tom can attest to this, right now, a lot of companies are using 3D modeling that you guys are already doing now, and we'd be looking at sometime in the very near future to upgrade the unit year by year. So staff recommends that the board approve the purchase of the Trimble Earthworks Laser 2D hex system for $30,500 with the savings that we got through the excavator purchase.
I would entertain a motion. Mr. Rosendich, second. Mr. Fisher, questions? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Chris. Go ahead.
I just have one last comment. I just want to thank the staff on all the hard work they did getting this all put together, and it was a great team effort. So, thank you.
Okay, number 6, approval of compact utility tractor purchase for the Park and Recreation Department, presented by Ben Steinbach,
Hello.
our superintendent.
Thanks, Tom. Very similar to Chris's comments. This unit is 23 years old. This tractor is used in the summertime primarily for our department on athletic fields mostly. The new unit that I'm requesting will be a 4-season unit with a full cab and snow removal equipment. It's very similar in size as a current unit. City has budgeted $60,000, and I got 2 quotes, the low being from Chili Implement with their Kubota, at $51,945. Also got a quote from Power Pack, and theirs was just under $57,000. Staff is recommending the purchase of the Kubota tractor from Chile Implement for $51,945.
Motion by Mr. Fisher, second. Mr. Rosendich, questions? Yes.
Good job getting 23 years out of it. That's
Yeah.
impressive. So, but I mean, I'm just wondering that it's also a long time. How do you determine the age and, kind of the aging out of the equipment? I mean, you got 23 years out of it. Is this something that you really should have replaced 3 years ago, but we've been babying it? I just would like to know what the process is.
Chris, maybe you could talk about the scoring system a little bit.
Actually, Ben had this in the budget last year to replace, and due to some budget cuts, we dropped it down. He couldn't purchase it last year. But as far as our criteria for replacing some of the stuff, we go by age, we go by hours and mileage, we go by general condition, and it's a grading system that you'll see in the CIP packet that we kind of prioritize how this stuff. We have a lot of equipment that needs to be replaced, but we only have so much money, so we kind of fight back and forth on who gets what, so.
Anybody else? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Number 7, approval of easement to Marshfield Utilities for guy wire on city parcel at 17th Street and Vine, presented by Tom Turchi, city engineer. Tom.
As you're aware, with the fairgrounds project coming, there's a pole relocation project coming in advance of that, where the utility is going to relocate their poles on 17th Street so that we don't have to deal with that during the construction project. They are proposing to have an easement in the north 20 by 10 feet of the property that's just east or west of Vine Avenue, south of 17th Street, that's city-owned, that's typically used for parking. Therefore, we are recommending granting the easement for this purpose. Currently, their guy wire is actually on the opposite side of the property line, which is on the adjacent property. We're readjusting some driveway locations and doing some other work so that it actually works for them better to be located on our parcel versus the adjacent parcel.
Motion by Mr. Fisher, second by Mr. Varsha. Questions? Dan?
The only thing I would add is that sometimes you might wonder, Marshfield Utilities is owned by the city. They're putting this guy wire on city property. Do you really need to grant an easement? But we like to have those easements recorded when they're outside of the public right-of-way or road right-of-way, so that if the city would ever sell this property, then there's a documented easement as to why the pole or the guy wire is on that. Even though it's city property now, it might not always be. So that's the reasoning.
Anybody else have anything? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Dan, did you want to say something?
Yeah, just on the items for future agendas, I forgot to put on this agenda tonight that we need to adjust our meeting times for the March meetings. March 1st is a Tuesday, so that would be a finance committee meeting. The council would be 1 week later, and in those cases, we move our Board of Public Works meeting to the Monday prior to the finance meeting, which would mean 2 weeks from today, February 28th, would be our next Board of Public Works meeting. Then the following one would be on March 14th, 4 weeks from today. Normally, I ask the board to approve that change in the meeting schedule, but I forgot to get it on the agenda. So I will note it in the minutes, and I will also mention it at the council meeting next week in case there's any other questions or confusion. So I apologize for missing that.
Anybody have a problem with that date?
Oh.
Adam?
I just have a comment. I will have to be virtual that night.
Okay.
I'll make a note of that.
Okay, sounds like it's good to go, Dan. Go
And
ahead.
then I did have one other update last week or 2 weeks ago when Mark, our forester, was here. He mentioned the Brain Park harvest of the ash logs, and that we were kicking off a bidding process to have those logs removed from the park. We opened those bids this afternoon, and we had an excellent results turnout on that. Had 9 bidders on those logs, and they were distributed to 4 different bidders. We had about 14 different piles that bidders could bid on, and various pricing on those. And it will be split up between 4 of those bidders, and proceeds are about $6,500. to the city, and the best part is we don't have to haul them away. So I think the process worked out well. We'll be doing something similar next year. We'll do our next harvest. Just an update there.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have anything for future?
I
Mr.
just want to
Rogan.
confirm, so the 28th and the 14th are the meetings, but there will not be one the 28th, right?
Of March.
Of March, right?
Correct,
Okay.
yeah.
Anybody else? Motion to adjourn by Mr. Rosendich, second by Mr. Varsho. Thank you. We are adjourned.